Are you ready to hear from a dynamic leader in the accounting and operations space, a CPA turned agency owner? This is the Scale You podcast, where every single week we are diving into other people's lives and businesses to find out more on how they got started and how they were able to scale themselves and their business. I am your host, Lacaba, the co-founder of 2XU Executive Assistant Services. And if you're ready to ditch the grind, let's go over and scale you. Our guest today is the CEO of TaskWise and the co-founder of WorkSync, where she focuses on streamlining business workflows and financial efficiency. With a background as a fractional CFO, she specializes in helping international firms from Singapore to North America navigate tax compliance, bookkeeping, and accounting automation. She's not just a financial expert, she's the builder of systems and agencies. She also leads one of the largest professional networks in the Philippines, a 24,000 member community for accountants and CPAs. This platform allows her to stay at the pulse of the industry while nurturing the talent that fuels her businesses. So help me welcome our guest today, Marianne. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Lian. Finally.
Finally on the podcast. Before this, we were talking about how we were following each other's work, so I'm super excited to dive in. Of course, we'll start with who were you before all of the accolades, all of the business? Who were you leading up to being who you are now?
So before that, just to show back, March 2021, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just a typical corporate employee. So, but after pandemic, I was able to discover there's an opportunity working from home. So eventually, I'm working in a corporate from 8 to 5. Then March 2021, I'm transitioning into freelancing. So I discovered I can apply an online job. This is my first, job as a part-time bookkeeper in New York. Then eventually, the normal side hustle, no sleep, 8 to 5. And then imagine 9 to 5 p.m., my AM, I'm working on accounting firm July 2021. And then I hand over my resignation, if I'm not mistaken, August. Then I told my boss I'm going to quit and resign. I will now transition from working from home.
Wow.
That's basically my background. Yeah.
So how did it turn into from freelance to then like starting your business the way that it is?
Yeah, so by the way, I'm an accountant by profession. So normally I get my clients on Upwork, and then normally I post my wins on social media and LinkedIn. And one of my classmate and MBA told me, hey, you're getting clients, why not put up your own business? I can help you. I worked on the BPO. I can set up to you the operations and the HR thing, then just do getting clients. And this is how TaskWise born, I think August 2021. So this is why TaskWise are being created. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. It's always fun when it's fun and a little bit better when you start a business with someone else, because at least like you have a little bit of a guide and a mentor, especially if you've never done it before. So in the last basically 5 years now since you've kind of switched to freelance work, what's kind of been your favorite thing? I guess some like the kind of business that you have. What's kind of your thing that like, oh, this is still exciting for me, 5 years later?
Yeah, actually, this is the commonly asked question. If you're a freelancer, you know what I mean. So if you ask by the HR or the client, how do you see yourself 5 years from now? So I actually very honest to the client that maybe I'm seeing myself as an accounting manager in your company, or I want to have my own accounting for an agency. So this is why I started. Yeah, what I'm wishing is actually it's happening right now. So from then, yeah, I can get clients. So why not build my own agency? So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that's true. You basically made come true what you would do.
Yes, wish for.
So what's your setup like? Like, is it you and like your team? You guys are all remote, or is there like offices in different places? What does that look like for you at the moment?
So at the first, when I started, it's like all remote. So basically, I get clients and outsource. Typically, I inform the clients that I have a team. And that time, it's a simultaneous. When I transition to agency owner, I build my own community. I started accounting people's FB group community from 50 people. Now we're 24,000 and counting. So from there, where I get my clients, of course, teaching them how to land clients as well. So I didn't realize this is also something I want on my life, doing coaching, and what maybe I can add soon. What is my Gallup, strength, which is communicator. So from then, I maximize my strength to communicate, not communicate just to connect with people, just like you and other, fellow LinkedIn professionals. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I remember looking at your community before. I know someone who is not more creative.
Your guest also, right?
It's interesting to, and it's nice also to have someone to like guide through. So I'm really happy that the people, basically the Marianne from like 5 years ago has a guide on how to get started versus for you, like you have to find out, you have to figure out how to do all of that. So at least you're the guide, you're the ate.
Roadmap. Yeah, they call it the roadmap. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because it's I can imagine for a lot of people, especially for those who went through the process of becoming like a registered CPA, the Philippines, like, oh, now what does that look like being an accountant for another country? So what's kind of, what would you say is the differences between being a CPA for like a Philippine company versus like you are CFO's CPA for other companies in another country?
Yeah, actually, I think I can compare, although CPA is already a title here in the Philippines, but sometimes even the CPA, that's why I created the community, they have their limiting belief that I'm just a CPA. How can I conquer the US market? I told them, you're already CPA in the Philippines. You already have an edge. It so happened they didn't know how to start, how to position themselves on the market. What are the tools that because it's different on traditional setup in the Philippines. It's totally different. If you know that, if you're an online, the client is totally different culture. They will have a culture shock when it comes to work ethics and the tools, especially the tools. If you don't know how to use Zoom, you don't know some QBO, some software, some project management tools, different tools now, AI, you know what I mean? So AI. So sometimes even if you're a CPA here in the Philippines, there are stuck on how to really enter the market of US. But eventually, as you go along, and so again, that the community gives us the coaching, community support, and continuous learning. That's the core values that we want to put on the community, because it's really a collaboration as well. I would add the collaboration. So from the CPA Philippines, just to answer your questions, is now we have US CPA now. So even if you're a Filipino, you can be a US CPA. So again, every year I was surprised what an accounting profession can do in the global market. So it's online as well as it's online. So there's a lot of opportunity for us an accountant. Yeah.
Super fun. I didn't know that you can kind of, in a way, because like, of course, like for a lot of our nurses and a lot of our basically other professions, they can get like a US RN or even a Canadian RN. So it's fascinating that that's also possible for CPA. So what is it like for you when you work with your clients? Like when your clients say like, Marianne, I need your help. What is usually that I need your help with?
I need someone who, this is always they want, someone who is confident and can do client facing, because the business owners in the US are so busy. So although sometimes they have already a skill and expertise, but the missing link is always the confidence level that they really want. Confidence not necessarily good in English. I'm always saying this. Confidence is there's a way of communicating to the client, especially for the tasks. You have to manage the expectation, deliverables. What are the outcome that they want from you? You are the independent. You can decide even the CEO is not there. So that's always the question. Can you look for someone who is confident enough to handle this task, to follow the skills? Because it's already given, right? Especially if you're CPA.
Yeah. No, that's really true. Especially for, like you said, like for most Filipinos who are switching from Filipino CPAs to more you working with like even US, Australia, whoever it is that they're working with. That confidence is a little bit of the difference of like someone who can communicate clearly, someone who can work with them, like, hey, these are your numbers, this is where you need to be. With your
Explain.
What's kind of what's the hardest thing about your type of business? Because I can imagine it's very Filipino word or also in Bisaya, like kuti. It's very like detail oriented. It's very minute.
Yes.
But what is it like? Like having to handle all those numbers, because of course, like the numbers that you present to your client is very what they base a lot of their business decisions on. What is that like doing that kind of work?
Of course, you have to be always on top, and you're always, in a way, you have attention into details, into numbers, and you don't have this, amnesia thing, well, like dementia. So as an accountant, you have to be more always updated and always accurate, completeness, and timeliness in a way, because again, the CEO is will the decision of the CEO will depend on the numbers they're seeing on their financial statement. Yep. So it's very hard. If you're incorrect on those figures, how can they decide or scale?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To scale
Yeah.
their business if they know the exact numbers.
Sure. And I guess that's also where the need for confidence comes in. So you have to be skilled enough and confident enough to present your numbers. So for you, what's your favorite thing about being a business owner? Like switching from you grew your community, you also have your business, but what's your favorite thing about being a business owner itself?
Actually, the growth. Because if you're coming from a corporate, that's the one thing I've learned through these years. If you're in a corporate setup, you're just doing the redundant, routinary thing. But if you're a business owners, the growth is coming there. You can be a CEO, you can be a CFO, you can be an operation, you can be an HR, you can do business development. So all cycles of business you can do. And then you can learn from other people as well. So that's the growth came in. Yep.
Sure. Sure, you not just your own growth, I guess, but then also for your team.
Other people.
Like,
Yes, other people as well. So you're growing together. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool. And I can also imagine with your agency and what it is that you guys do, you'll also see the growth of the businesses for your clients, and then how your clients have grown working with you. What's kind of a type of client that you love working with? What's your favorite type of client?
Someone who will trust you with your strength. Because recently, I'm always surprised every year there's business opportunities coming in on my ways. Last year is outsourcing. Now we're planning to have a co-working space. So those business owners who given you the authority to decide, to grow, and to support you on what you're good at. So they trust you that you can do this, you can work on this. So those people it's nice to work with, right?
And I know this is a little bit of a harder question, but what have been headache clients? Like clients that weren't really as easy to work with? Just so then for business owners who are watching this, they're like, okay, this is how I shouldn't be if I want to work with someone like Marianne. What are those clients like?
I think micromanaging. Someone again with trust issue. I think that's the vice versa of it. You know what I mean? So sometimes they monitor you based on if you're clock in or clock out, which I believe doesn't work in so many ways. That's why again you're given your people to grow and have feedback. So just again a good communications and what you're expecting. That's why we're always saying manage expectation both ways, client and the staff. So there's no room for some trust issue. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's it.
Very, very true. Yeah. What's the point of hiring and working with you? They're not gonna trust.
You're not trust. Yes.
To get your job, and that's true. Now, in the last couple of years, and we talked about this also before we start record. You've grown, you have your community, you've grown that influence. What do you think is the reason why people love listening to you versus anyone else? What do you think your impact has been and for the people who have been following you inside of your community?
It's very hard, but I discover myself as we go along. Authenticity. People love those authentic people who can do, sense of humor. They're so natural. They given some feedback, and the truth. They didn't sugarcoat. This is what you're expecting if you will be working on a US client. This is your rate. This is gonna happen. The freelancing is not easy. You can get clients and ghost you. The rate will be underpaid. So, there's a lot of cycles and emotional struggles. So I always give them the honest feedback. So I think, and then again, the authenticity.
True. It's the behind the scenes basically that a lot of people, because of course every single day we're hit with Facebook ads or even LinkedIn ads of oh, this is, who you should follow, you should set. But then it's our stories. That's why I was telling you before this, that's why I love the Scary podcast. It's it's one way to kind of be cozy and in Tagalog, like chismosa, but at the same time, like
Yes.
it's stories. You
How
don't
did you
hear
do
a lot.
that? Yeah.
It's
What
stories
did you
don't
do?
Yeah. And in the last like now 5 years with your business, how, and you mentioned this earlier, of like how has AI kind of affected your part of the world? Like it's affected so many different industries. How's it beating it? Asking it again. Either how has it affected it so far, or how do you see it affecting more of your niche or industry moving forward?
Actually, it really helps, especially for me personally, creating my content. I use it in AI. I have to be honest, all of my decisions, all of my work is now AI dependent. It's just so happened that I just make sure that whatever's in my mind, I will put an AI and then give me some feedback, and I have just modify some of the things that is really happening in the current setup. For example, creating business plan. I can do it in 5 minutes. I can do it PowerPoint in just a minute. I can do video editing in seconds. So those things, sometimes people are scared on AI, but they didn't realize this is something you have to collaborate with AI. This is where you start to scale and grow, and become an edge or 100 step away from the competitors if you don't use AI.
True.
Yeah.
I love what you said there of like you use AI as kind of a brainstorm, but you're still the one like making sure that the final output is actually good. Because I think
Yes.
that's where a lot of people are thinking of AI as a shortcut, but then you need to kind of know what you're talking about before you
It's
can
your
have.
brand. You're also your brand. You have to be authentic as well. Even it's AI, it's not me. So you have to really modify some of the wordings, and you have to create your own brand as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, with and I remember the very first time that I created a finance chart using Google Gemini. Which
Yes.
ones have been kind of your favorite like AI tools that you've
Yeah.
used so far?
I think most likely on Gantt chart, like some terms that you have. Create me a computation of profit margin. Create me a graph. Create me a comparison. So create me a projection based on this given information. This is industry. I have to be specific on AI what I want to the outcome, and they will give it easily. And then now I can present to the CEO. This is what I can do. So projection, very easy. Yeah.
True, and I love those examples. And I can probably go on and keep asking you like different ways, just so
Yes.
more. However, I do want to ask you specifically on AI in the next couple of years. It could be next year. They might perfect the cloning machine,
Yes.
and you'll be able to run yourself through it. Let's say there's a clone of 20 Mariannes, 100, 300. What would you want that world to look like, to have that kind of much influence? How would you either change it or would want to move it in that way?
It's very hard. I think I want to create more leaders. If AI can duplicate more leaders, you know what I mean? Somebody who will lead and take lead people. So someone who knows how to delegate correctly and guide them to become a leader. Because normally, because I believe you're a good leader if you create more leaders.
True.
Because you create new leaders that can do the duplication and multiple the channel of blessings. They can create more job opportunities. They can create their business. They can create an agency, accounting firm if we create more leaders.
Very, very true and very well
Yeah.
said. It's that shift over where we are able to create just more good, like people who know how to lead, who know how to like move people forward. So if
Yes.
people do want to hear more about you being a leader and also getting to know more about your community and what you do, how can people reach out to you? How can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, of course, LinkedIn, Marianne Labonete, YouTube channel, Yan Labonete. We have Accounting People's FB group community. I have also pages, Freelancer Yan. So, what else? TikTok. I'm not all in TikTok. Instagram, it's my personal, but yeah, you can reach me. It's still totally different names. So, I'd rather give those LinkedIn for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
terrific. Ooh, well, thank you so much for finally we were able to do this podcast, Marianne. Thank you so much
Yes,
for being
finally.
on the podcast and all
Thank
of
you so
experience
much.
for people. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Dian. Bye.
Again, all of Marianne's links are going to be found in the description below. Make sure to connect with her everywhere else. And I'm hoping that you guys were inspired by Marianne's story as I am. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like, leave a review wherever you're listening or watching to this. I love hearing from you guys, so you can leave a comment as well. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe on the Scaly podcast so you don't miss any of our episodes every Tuesday. And I hope you guys have an amazing and fantastic day. And with that, small steps matter. So I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.